All right, time to get to some pregame salutations. Very pleased now to be joined by John Coach Sal Salavantis. And Coach Sal, a big game for the Ticats, a game that they shouldn't expect to win, but they should expect to win this game, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think you're downplaying the fact that they're the team that should win. And the idea behind this is you don't have to be cocky, but you got to be confident. And so you practice during the week. You show yourself to be that kind of a team that can execute, whether it's against the Redblacks or against another team. So I really believe that this should be a game that the Ticats should win and should win outright in.
Yeah, confidence and cockiness is a big difference between those two, and I couldn't agree with you more. It's not just win the game and have a kind of game that comes down to the wire, but I'm looking to see some dominant performances really on both sides of the ball. What do you see for the defensive side for the Tiger Cats, how they're going to exploit this Ottawa offense?
Well, I think you got to confuse the offensive line. There are several things that's going to play into this ball game. Number one, you got to shut down the run. That takes away the ability of the offense of the Redblacks to gain first down yardage. They average 5.8 yards per first down. You've got to knock that down to like 4 or less. Now you've put them behind the chains. Now you've put the ball in the hands of their quarterback, and their quarterback has to execute. At the same time, if you stop the run game, you take away the play-action pass. So they now can't do play-action pass, so if they want to get out of the pocket, they're going to have to roll the quarterback. You roll the quarterback, you cut the field in half, and that plays into your defense again, where the defense only has to play half the field. So all in all, I really think that the Hamilton defense has to be aggressive, and they have to be very confusing to the offensive line.
Yeah, and we got Lorenzo Malden, the fourth, back in the lineup for the first time since week one. He's been doing a great job across that D-line, kind of picking his spots and being able to sub in well for guys like Jagarrett Davis and Teddy Laurent. Let's take a look at the Ticats offensive line. Darius Sirocco, a game-time decision. We're still waiting to hear from that. Colter Woodmansey making his second straight start at right guard, but it's at left tackle. We see somebody brand new after Jordan Murray went down in practice. Travis Vorncall getting his first career CFL start. We've been talking about it when it comes to the consistency on the offensive line. Again, here we are with a brand new look offensive line. What are you looking for, especially at that left tackle spot for the Ticats in this one?
Well, I really think that the offensive line, this is way too late in the season to be experimenting with players. We went from a Hamilton team that was dominant in the offensive line to a team that has been nothing but sporadic throughout the season. You've got good players at the line, but they haven't played together. And each week it seems like something else has to take place and change. I think this team, the O-line, has to play well. It has to give Mazzoli time to throw the football. If Mazzoli has time to throw the ball, he is very accurate. He can throw the ball deep. He can throw the ball to the far side of the field. He can throw the ball to the hot receiver on the field. So give the offensive line a little bit of credit until the Redblacks prove that they can't play.
Yeah, well, sometimes injuries kind of affect those personnel decisions later in the season, but I agree with you. The offensive line has to have a strong game and continue to get better as we go down the stretch towards the playoffs. And you talked about first down efficiency for the Redblacks and 5.8 yards. Well, the only team worse than them in the league is Hamilton. And so that's got to change as well. You got to see some first down production to get those second and medium, second and shorts, so that you can have all those types of plays that you mentioned earlier, the play action pass, the run game, the wide receiver screens, as well as any of your quick game, your downfield passes, rollouts. You basically have a full playbook when it's 2nd and 3, but if you're looking at 2nd and 7 or more, 2nd and long, then you're really, really limited. And so what have you seen there, and how, do you expect that to get better?
I hope it gets better, and the way to make it better is to run the ball. If you can run the football, you can dominate on that offensive line. These are guys that are built to take the ball down the field. They're road grader type players. They can move the football if the running back can find the right seams and the right holes. But you have to stay with it. You can't go out of a ball game with 7 carries to your running back. You've got to get 15, 20 carries to your running backs in order to establish that line of scrimmage. Yes, you're going to get stopped several times in there with no gain or a half-yard gain or a 2-yard gain. But at the same time, you're going to get that breakaway that's going to give you that second down and short situation in which you can do a lot of different things.
And we're still waiting here on the game time decision updates on Darius Sirocco and Sean Thomas Erlington. But Malik Irons had a great game when we saw him in, and let's take a second to talk about Jeremiah Masoli, because when you look at what he has done throughout the season, as that offensive line has built consistency. Best game of the season, of course, was I believe was last time out against the Toronto Argonauts. Throws for 360. What are you looking to see from him specifically in this game?
Well, I think Jeremiah, being what he is as a quarterback, he can hurt you with his legs. He doesn't want to. He can. He wants to throw the football. So you've got to have your receivers break the secondary of the Redblacks. You know, when we look at the NFL, the NFL will tell you that the receiver actually makes his game 3 to 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. After that, he is in position where the defensive back is at a disadvantage. In the CFL, where we've got guys coming from 7, 8, 10 yards deep, and ability to run laterally down the line of scrimmage, etc., it changes all the dynamics on that defensive side. I think the way that Masoli plays is dependent upon how his receivers are able to open up. And by that I mean they have got to really help him. It's not so much the catch as be open when I expect you to be open.
Yeah, they got Banks back in the lineup this week, and considerable playmakers when you look at right across the board. And do you expect to see these receivers moving around and changing positions at all during this game, or kind of lining up and just going with it?
You know, if it were me and I love to play that kind of a game, I'd put 4 receivers to the wide side of the field. I'd put Banks on the short side of the field, and I'd challenge the Redblacks to play him man for man. And if they play him man for man, I'm going to throw the ball there. You know the 4 receiver side is going to get a zone. They can't hardly play man for man over there because the picks will take them apart. So you put Banks in a position where he's your number 1 receiver, put him on the boundary side, and let's see what the Redblacks do. Are they going to roll the coverage? Are they going to move a linebacker out to help underneath? What are they going to do? And use Banks in that position.
Coach Sal, would you look at this Tiger Cats team any differently if they win this game by 3 points or if they win this game by 21 points? Do you look at that, or is it just get the win, however?
A win is a win, but at the same time, we're in a position now where this game and the next game, the Elks, both of these teams, Ottawa and the Elks, are basically out of the playoff picture. You've got to dominate those 2 teams. You've got to get yourself back in a position where you are the team coming from the East that's got a chance to win the first place in the East.
Are they feeling the pressure, do you think, the Ticats?
Well, I would hope they feel pressure, but at the same time, every player, when you walk on the field, any player that plays the game feels pressure. And the pressure is normally an inward pressure. He pressures himself. It's not so much the outward situation that people look at.
I was looking at the defensive side of the game from last week, and you mentioned challenge the Redblacks to play man on Banks, and we'll see if that happens if they do ISO him up on one side of the field. But from the Ticats' defensive side, I'd like to see them try to put some pressure on those receivers and play some man and get in their face a little more contact. I thought that second half against the Argonauts, their zone was really getting picked apart by Bethel Thompson, and so that's got to change. I'm sure the Redblacks are watching that film pretty closely and are looking to do a similar thing. What kind of changes do you see in that secondary, the play of the scheme this week?
I agree with you, Andy. I think they need to play some man coverage. And that falls back into what we talked about in the beginning, confusing the offensive line. Bring your linebackers up on the line of scrimmage. Make the offensive line of the Red Blacks think about that. At the same time, cover up tough on the outside on those receivers and make Evans throw the ball quickly. So he doesn't know which guy is coming, which guy isn't coming, who's playing man, who's playing zone. So, go ahead and take some chances. Play some zone or some man instead of all zone.
It'll be interesting to see what the Ticats do today. Should be a great one. Coach Sal, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it.
More than love.